This is Trophy Gold, The Rot Beneath Winterbrook, Part 4. We've already done our recap off camera, so we're going to just kind of dive in. So the last thing we saw was there was this tunnel that is beneath the basement of a house where the priests were going to do their ritual. The priests, one of them at least, the sort of main antagonist priest, she was burned in the fire, and um, uh, the militia guy, Barnaby, what's his name? Barnaby Wilcox. Barnaby Wilcox basically is kind of saying like you doing that is you taking responsibility for whatever's going on here for this town, right? And he's kind of hinted that like the history of the town is really important. In fact, he's given a book to one of the characters, to Devon's character. I don't remember the names. Hold on. To Akale. And so yeah, that is a key thing too. Also, there's Lindsay and her sword, another thing to be mindful of. So let's just go around the table, and I want to just check in with what everyone's interested in doing, and then we can have scenes once we kind of figure that out. So what do you think, Sybil?
I am still very interested in this mysterious person who is staying at the tavern. I want to see if
On,
maybe,
yes.
yeah, I want
Yeah,
to know what they're doing here. If they have anything to do with any of this. They're just too strange. They stand out, you know.
fair enough. He's everyone's easy to find in this village, so I can let you can definitely go tail him for a little bit. Let's go over to Count Kalen. What do you want to do?
Uh, I'm if Akala mentions the book, I want to definitely hear her out on that. But other than that, I'll just wait for my friends. I think it's time to go into this thing and find out what's going on.
Yeah, it's feeling like it. Abeha, what about you?
Yeah, I think I wound up outside of the basement last time. I'm very interested in finding out what is burrowing down there. I'm also interested in following up on the sword thing.
Well, and Akale, you might have like access to most of the information that's key right now. What do you want to do?
I would like to read that book.
Read that book. Let's do that now. Go ahead, and we can say that you've been reading it over the course of the last few days. Let's just see what you've learned. Go ahead and roll. Make a hunt roll. You get your first light die just because, and then you also have. I don't think any of your skills are actually helpful here, unless you can make a case for something from your equipment. Even like you have like the 3 open slots in your equipment as well. You can grab something from.
Okay, I will grab an open backpack of equipment slot unless you think invisible ink will help.
I'm not sure how it would. So
Like, are there invisible pages?
no, no.
Um, how about this is a history book? What about a like a pocket almanac, maybe?
Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pop that in there. Go ahead and make two dice then.
Yeah, pocket almanac makes sense. She's been traveling. She needs to know a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I get a token, but encounter something terrible.
If it's something terrible, will probably just come in the form of the information here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of this town. So the basic gist of it is this. Where Winterbrook now stands, there was a city before, many centuries before. But that city fell because of the dark machinations of an archwizard called Nilamanos. I shall type that for you. Nilamanos. Nilamanos was a bad dude. He was killed and he was buried in a crypt beneath the city. But This is where it gets a little fuzzy. He either had some kind of curse or he's still actively doing magic, but basically the city, the sort of like wasting away disease that's like plaguing Winterbrook, that's what happened to the city. And they destroyed themselves. And the city was eventually just abandoned and was so long ago that it just fell to ruin. And now all that there might be in the wider landscape evidence of the city, but currently the only thing in this patch of land is Winterbrook. But it's that connection of how the people of that ancient city were destroyed, the way it mirrors what's happening to Winterbrook right now. That's the important part, right? So that's what you get for your 4. Which is just to say, there might be some really ancient evil magic going on here that is causing this to happen.
Well, I'm very excited.
I thought you might be. So, Abeja, what are you up to right now? Where do you go? You're muted, Mark.
There we go. Since it seems like no one has emerged from the basement where they were going to be doing the burning and inhaling the smoke, I think it's time to go down there and check on my buddies and see if there's anything I can do to help out.
Buddies. Who's buddies in this context?
I think that's Sybil down there, I think. And I think
Kaylin's down there, I believe.
Kaylin, yeah. Kaylin and Rollin, I guess. Is it
Yeah, we could just have the scene down in the basement as you're all kind of figuring out what to do next, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't recall if I am in the basement or not.
You can be for now, yeah, and then you can go. You can go deal with On later.
I think this is all very weird, but sometimes when people are burned, they're burned with treasures. Can I take a look at the ash pile?
Sure. Make a gold 6 roll.
Are you confusing the word burned and buried?
No, I know the difference.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, what was the gold roll?
Gold 6.
6. Thanks.
Nope, nothing.
Suppose they probably made off with all the goods before they threw them in the fire.
Didn't want to corrupt the smoke with earthly things.
Indeed. Well,
so right now there's a hole in the wall. Is that right?
There is, and you heard something crawling down the tunnel, right? It didn't sound human, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Also, it does psychic blasts, so
yeah,
that too.
I got some of that before. I have some torches, so I think it's time to stick one in the embers of the fire, light it up, and poke it in the hole and see if there's anything I can see.
Go ahead and make a hunt roll. You can do 2 dice with the torch. So
cool. That's a 6.
Take your token. You're also encountering something terrible just by virtue of its only terrible things to see down here.
Yeah.
As you, maybe we say you go in a few yards with the torch. The ceilings of the tunnel have pulsating, quivering egg sacs hanging from them. They glisten. They glow with a faint light, and there are some sort of worms crawling around inside these hanging sacs, and there seem to be quite a lot of them.
What kind of fire making stuff do we have in the basement? If we can throw a bunch of oil in there or just pack it full of tinder and light it up. Very interested in just setting fire to that whole deal.
You can certainly grab stuff from your equipment list and make a plan.
I
have grease.
Grease is a good start.
Grease is great.
Probably have like that fire is still going, right?
Got plenty of fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I see? Is there oil on the list?
Maybe if Akale throws some of that grease she has down that tunnel, toss in a torch, wait for everything to go away, and then go down the tunnel.
Yeah, I like that idea. Lantern oil. That's what I want. Big. Yeah.
Lantern oil is pretty good.
Lantern oil out of my backpack and just douse the place with it before throwing a torch in.
This is going to be a risk roll. I think what's at stake is I don't think you're going to be, I mean, like, you don't know how far the tunnels go. And this is just the sort of first bit of tunnel, I guess. But in any case, it'll at least get you inside.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be, I mean, I think what can go wrong here, the only thing that I think can go wrong here is you just like really underestimate the level of what's going on here, and you all just get swarmed by these worms, right? And that would be bad. You have a light die because of the equipment that you're using. Amanda, you can make the devil's bargain.
Ooh, I think no matter what, something triggers your golden hunger.
Yes. Accepted.
Accepted. Too light, and I'm going to make you do a dark as well because you're crawling around trying to set things on fire in a cave. So
I think I'd actually like to use my Gale ritual here.
Oh, okay.
Pull out my pull out my mask, pull out my wind chimes, and say
like
whatever,
cause the fire to spread or something.
Yeah,
or,
words like use that to like feed the fire, blow it in.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Yeah, go ahead and roll. Yeah, risk 2 light, 1 dark.
Yeah. Let's do that. That's a 5.
That is a 5 light. I'll tell you what the complication is, and you can decide if you want to add another dark die to it or get help from someone. There's a good case for help here because everyone's kind of pitching in. I will say that the complication is you will destroy the eggs. You're going to destroy the egg sacs enough to get into the caves and trigger the next set goal. But you will have to encounter, let's say, a fully mature worm. If you don't want to encounter the fully mature worm, you can ask for help or add a dark die and roll again.
I'll start off by accepting help if anyone wants.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind helping.
So you're going to roll a help die, Kaylin, and if it comes up a 1, then your ruin goes up, but otherwise it counts as part of the roll.
All right, here we go. I
That
get
is
3.
a 3. It was no help, but I mean, you in the fiction you helped, but it didn't mechanically help. You can keep accepting help from anybody who wants to help with this plan.
Could I use my fountain ritual to put the fire out once we're pretty sure it's killed everything as a way of flushing away
Oh, sure. Yeah,
a lot of
I
the
like
crap?
That'll function as, it's still just a help roll, so go ahead and roll that. It's a 1. Your ruin goes up, and it was no help. I think basically the way your ruin is going to go up, I'm going to also give you a condition burns. I think like after the fire gets started, you just get caught up in the fire a little bit.
Or maybe the water turns into steam and it just
yeah, exactly. Steam burns. Yeah,
terrible.
I like that. The power of the gale makes the fire much bigger than you all anticipate. Anybody else want to throw in a help die? Akale,
I would like to help. I know a lot about underground tunnels, so I would be able to probably give some assistance there.
Go ahead and roll it. There we go. Yes. 6 light. This will work, and you will not have to encounter any of the mature worms yet. And you will be able to trigger the next set goal. Just describe how you kind of make your way into the tunnels. They do kind of branch off and twist and go in different directions, but you kind of get into you're able to kind of like get in clear enough of a path to make some decisions about where to go. So describe what this all looks like, including everyone's helping you, Abeja.
Yeah. So throwing the oil in, lighting it up, using the gale to fan the fire. And once we give it some time to cool down after after all the help. And I guess I go in first. It's probably a little bit cramped. And I think as things are branching, I imagine we reluctantly kind of split up to make the best of our time to explore different branches. And when things get too narrow or clearly like come to a dead end or whatever, we eventually regroup. And I imagine it would probably like the largest branch of the tunnel, I imagine would wind up in another basement somewhere, maybe the inn, maybe another building. We wouldn't be sure until we got our lights in there.
Yeah, you're burning up egg sacs. Worms are dying. You're putting out the fires as needed to flush things away. And you're making good progress through these tunnels. The set goal here is reach the tomb safely. Now, you can, of course, spend 3 tokens to have that automatically happen, or you can just try to reach the tomb.
I'll throw in a token if folks want to do that.
Yeah, I'll throw in a token.
We've got 2 tokens. Anybody want to spend a third?
3.
Hooray.
3 tokens. You will be able to reach the tomb safely. I'll take over the narration. You're being very methodical here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are burning, killing, putting out fires, moving forward. Burning, killing, putting out fires, moving forward. Occasionally you see larger species of the worms. They're about the size of a dog. And you can feel them trying to psychically blast you, these worms. They have a sort of like, they're fuchsia in color, and they have big mandibles and toothy maws. And they just try to like psychically blast you, but once you get the fire going, it scares them off. And so the most you all have to deal with is just like a pretty bad headache. You will see that some of the worms are attached to the foundations of homes in Winterbrook.
Mm.
They're just like stuck underneath, like under the foundations, or like under like trapped, like cellar doors, like that kind of thing. They're almost certainly pumping in psychic hell to the people of Winterbrook, which is why the people of Winterbrook are having this problem that they're having. And that might be something the people of Winterbrook or you need to deal with at some point. But as you're proceeding, you get to probably, well, the passage opens up to a set of like a really wide cave that dips down below. You're pretty far below the earth at this point. The cave is wide, but the ceiling is low. There are jagged stalactites jutting down with very sharp points. And there's a very like kind of gooey black and fuchsia fungus clinging to almost every surface. It smells of death, like rotting flesh. And you see more of these fleshy sacs hanging from the ceiling of this wide but low chamber. At the far end of this chamber, this fungus seethes and steams in a massive pile. And you see a skull popping out of this pile of fungus and a clawed hand. And you have a new set goal here. acquire the Book of 1,000 Deaths. I will, there's kind of a little picture of it, what's going on here. I'll see if I can clip that for you and drop it into the map for you, or I'll just put it in chat. You can look at it there. Oops, that didn't work. Okay. I'll put it on the map. Oh, that's big. That's sort of what you see there. What do you all do?
I would like to see. I know that you've said that the worms are like interwoven into the foundations and stuff. Are they for lack of a better word structural worms?
They're just worms clinging to cellar doors.
They're not like holding anything up?
They're not.
Okay.
Do we get the feeling that the same sort of psychic emanations are coming from the skull pile, same or stronger, or is it?
You can make a hunt roll if you want. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What do I have? Don't know that I have anything that would help. Vigilance, maybe, but I think it's just gonna be one die.
That is a 2. You encounter something terrible. Everyone's down here, right? So
Not Gerald. I set Gerald off to tail on.
very good. The skull begins speaking to you. Just you, Obeha. You are not who I summoned here. And yet you may be useful to me nonetheless. Approach. Cut me free, and I shall reward you greatly.
What kind of reward?
I shall give you the secret to life and death. You will be a master of the mortal coil. This is my offer to you. And then you hear another voice, Obeha. The other voice says, that's not a bad deal. The secret of life and death? That sounds like the sort of thing that people would do unspeakable things for. Maybe you should do this for both of us. If you do it, you can just do it, unless your companions stop you. If you don't do it, I'm going to make you roll a risk roll.
I think I would also like to ask it, and when I release you, what will you do?
And it speaks this just to you.
Mm-hmm.
I will destroy the people of this land. But you will be safe. The other voice. People are overrated anyway.
Which of the three of you do you think Obeha has become closest with?
I mean, I don't want to be presumptuous, but we did spend a lot of time like making the finger string thing.
That's true.
I hope we became friends over that.
Yeah. I'm gonna hand Kalen my harpoon and lean into him and just whisper, "Stop me," as I go to the skull to free him.
I'll put the harpoon down and I'll just kind of like full Nelson Obeya, and I'll say to the others like, "Hey guys, Obeya asked me to stop him. This is okay.
Yeah. And I'm struggling to free the skull thing.
This is classic possessed by a demon or something, right? Sybil?
Wait, what?
Yeah, and
What?
I like
What?
how am I doing? Am I easily able to stop Obeha from moving?
I don't think so.
Pretty early.
I think that the gold hunger is going to kick in at this point. I am going to make you roll a risk roll. Well, Kalen, since you're doing the deed, I'm going to make you roll a risk roll to keep Obeha under control.
All right. Let's see. Looking at my thing here, I get with the risk roll. I have to. I don't get anything for free, right? It has to be
First we have to talk about stakes.
Yeah.
Everyone but Dog gets to say what could go wrong here.
In
I mean,
the
the obvious thing is
scuffle,
I get loose and free the skull.
Kalen gets pushed into the mound of whatnot.
Classic.
I think it could be as simple as you just fail to restrain Obeha. I don't know if you have any other thoughts, Devin, but that's kind of where we're at.
So you get light. I have 2 more spots in my backpack equipment. So what I'm thinking is I'll pull out shackles. Would that help?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could definitely do that for to help Kalen on the roll if Kalen needs it. Let's talk about dice, Kalen. Do you have a skill actually you can use those shackles to get your first light die if you want.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'll take that. Akla. So I'm thinking, so I'm really good with trickery. I spent a lot of time wrestling the other kids as a kid, like the idea of like feigning, of like doing like fake shoots and stuff. Is that going to help me keep Obeha, probably a much larger man, under my control?
I mean, sure, but mechanically, there's just one light die that you get for the shackles or your skills. The devil's bargains. Everyone can make a bargain. No matter what, your way out is blocked by the mature worms.
You know what? I think I'll take it. I think Obeha's freedom, psychic freedom, is more important. I'm gonna roll it. I get a 4.
I'm gonna give you. So you have. We haven't quite finished building the die pool yet.
I apologize.
You are gonna get a dark die because I think this is dangerous, and I'm gonna give you an extra dark die because of the gold hunger. So you're rolling 2 light, 2 dark.
All right, here we go.
Look at that. 3 6s. The 6 is what we care about. The 6 dark that does make your ruin go up by 1, but otherwise you are able to fully restrain Obeha. What does this look like, Kalen?
I would say the full Nelson probably doesn't work. He probably reverses it pretty early. Maybe he slams he does that thing where you slam yourself into the wall, and so I'm taking the front of it because I'm behind him. We probably go to the ground a while. I get him in my guard, jujitsu style, and I'm able to hold him there for a bit.
Sybil and Akale, you hear noises from the tunnel behind you, your way out. There's a large sort of congregation of these big worms, the big ones, the ones that are the size of dogs. They're kind of piled on top of each other and just crawling into the space. By the time you even realize it, the two of you are basically kind of knocked back on your heels because of the psychic blast. It's just like emanating like this like terrible like the worst migraine of your life, like hitting you all at once, right? And this is a combat. The tricky thing about this combat is Obeha has to be restrained. And so Obeha, basically someone is going to take a second weak point because of Obeha's being restrained. And so that sounds like it's probably Kalen, but I don't know if it's going to be any different than that. This massive group of worms collectively, individually, they're not this high, but collectively they are an endurance 10. And so let's please say how you are vulnerable and roll a weak point. And Kalen, you're rolling 2.
Well, I was taken by surprise and knocked on my ass by the psychic blast of these many, many giant worms.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a weak point. 3 is your. Kalen has a weak point of 3.
I keep jumping the gun on that.
Sybil, your weak point is 5. Kalen, how are you vulnerable? Probably just holding down Obeha, I imagine, is the main thing.
Yeah, he's I think he's punching me at this point. I think that's the big one.
Definitely fighting back.
You have to do one more. So actually, Obeha, why don't you roll it since it's technically your die? So
yeah.
Okay, so Kalen, your problem numbers are 3 and 2. Sybil, your problem number is 5. And Akale, are you vulnerable in the same way if the psychic blast or something else?
I think just getting blasted.
Mm-hmm. Roll a weak point. 3, 5, 2, and 1. Those are our 1, 2, 3. Basically 1, 2, 3, and 5. It is a combat 1, 2, 3, 4 to start. Not a bad start. Sybil, you can roll it. Combat 4. Looking for 10 on the 2 highest dice. That'll do it. 6, 5, 2, and 2. 6, 5 is the winning combination. You will destroy these worms. However, Obeha, you are taking 2 hits. Or no, Kalen, you're taking 2 hits. And Sybil, you're taking a hit, unless you want to mark armor, either of you. Let's just kick off the combat, though. Sybil, go ahead and describe the first part of the combat. What does this look like when the worms attack you? They basically just attack by trying to, like, fry your brain, essentially.
Yeah. They're spilling into this area that we are in, and it's sort of like a undulating worm mass. The psychic blast, I mean, it's not visible, but as it blasts out, dust in the rocks and such in the cavern sort of shake around, and it knocks Sybil and Akale down. And I think on my back, very ungracefully, I pull out my hand sickle and just start swiping at any of the worms that I can get any bit close to. They're worms. It's very easy to cut them in half. And I think I'm just sort of crawling towards them, slicing them up as best I can while dealing with this horrible headache.
Do you take the hit, or?
I am going to mark some armor for that.
How does your armor help you with the psychic assault? But technically, you're probably override armor, but maybe they probably bite as well. Yeah, they probably, they have mandibles and stuff.
Yeah, I think the headache thing has already happened.
Yeah.
Because the blast had happened. I think it's just getting through this mass of worms without getting
sliced
too
up.
bit.
Yeah. Sounds good. Keep it going, Kalen.
Okay.
You're holding down Obeha.
Yeah. I think what happens is, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm a little bit shaky on the rules, but I think I die. I think Obeha kills me.
Well, what's your current ruin right now? 4?
6 after getting pummeled by.
And you have no armor?
Nothing new.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Obeha kills you?
I reckon. Yeah.
Obeha, describe it.
Yeah. He foolishly put down the harpoon when I handed it to him. And I'm fighting back with everything. I probably got the manacles on at this point, and he is distracted by wrestling me down, trying to see what's going on, and he gets hit with a worm blast, and that stuns him. And I take the opportunity, and with both maniacal hands, just take the harpoon and jam it up into his ribs.
Obeha, do you
Push
are
him
you
off.
becoming like are they gonna have to combat you, Obeha? Like what's going on here?
Maybe.
Might be a contest roll.
Yeah.
Roll. Do you know how rare a contest roll is in gold? It's so rare. But this would be the time. Akale, you're gonna eventually clear out these worms. What does that look like?
I'm saving. I want to save my ace in the hole for if Obeha turns on the two of us. So I'm going to do that, and I think I just pull out the like the or not the sacrificial, the symbolic knife and hooked sword. And like uh gauntlet, sword, gauntlet, knife.
Eventually, the worms are all dead. There's just pink and black worm viscera all over the place. Obeha is standing over Kalen's dead body. Obeha, are you going for the skeleton in the fungus? You're muted.
I feel like maybe I should make a ruin roll or something to see like how much of a grip that has on me.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it in your hands at this point. You can decide how you respond.
Um. Yeah, just
I do think as you're trying to like figure this out, though, you
Yeah.
do feel he who walks between the stones. You feel his sort of like velvety fingers on the back of your neck, gently placating and soothing you.
Yeah.
Sybil, what are you doing? I mean, Obeha just
yeah.
killed
Yeah.
Kalen.
I'm just standing over him like wrecked with
like
decision.
Obeha's in shock. So
Yeah.
Sybil and Akale, what are the two of you doing?
I'm gonna tackle Obeha. I
Obeha,
mean,
if you don't want to
clearly.
stop that Obeha, then there's no dice, but otherwise it's a contest roll.
Yeah, I don't think I want to stop it. I think my desire is to get to the skull, but also like there's part of me that's fighting it. So
Sybil, you can restrain
do what I
Obeha.
can.
What does it look like?
Yeah.
I think I just knock him down because I don't know what just happened. You know, from the corner of my eye, I thought I saw Obeha kill Kalen. And Kalen's not moving, and there's a lot of blood. So yeah, I'm just going to tackle Obeha and hold him down as best I can and get some answers.
Akale, you hear the voice of the skull. I have in my possession the secrets of life and death itself. I can teach you how to manipulate the mortal coil. Use it for your own ends. What do you do?
I have this migraine, so I already don't love that there's this voice in my head, making it worse. I am tempted to learn the secrets of life and death, specifically to bring Kalen back.
Intriguing.
But I know enough about cults and secrets and life and death, and I don't think I would like to resist it. And if possible, this is just a fun thing I realized. I have two amulets of protection. One of them is gold, like is a treasure and would be worth gold.
Mhm.
But maybe I could put those in the eye of the skull and it would shut in the eyes of the skull and it would shut it up.
I mean, I'm open to risk rolls of any sort, so you can certainly do that. I think, Sybil, at this moment, you'll hear Gerald down the tunnel.
Does his ba sound like he's announcing his arrival? Does he sound like he's in danger? I would know his different ba's.
If you would know his different ba's, it would be content.
Oh.
On walks up toward you, holding Gerald, feeding him delicious something, greens or something, potatoes. Gerald's munching away happily when On has Gerald under his arm. And On says, I am the one the master sent for. I am going to make this a very simple decision for you all. Go back to Winterbrook. Pretend you never saw any of this. And there won't be any trouble.
What, master? What's going on?
He looks past you to the skeleton in the pile of fungus. I serve the one who goes by many names. He has been called Nilamanos.
That doesn't mean anything.
He lifts Gerald up and with his oily lips kisses Gerald on the top of the head. And puts Gerald down.
Gerald, you traitor.
What do you all do?
I think if Obeha isn't fighting back against me, I'll probably loosen my hold. Because clearly there's something weird happening and I don't know what it is.
Akale, are you going to go through with your plan with the skeleton? You hear On draw his sword. He says, No. There won't be any of that today. Please step back from the master.
I will plant my feet and like do that little like dancers move where you pivot on the balls of your feet. So I'm not looking at the skeleton anymore. I'm looking at him. I'll just very calmly put my hand in my pocket and wrap my fingers around a little jar, and I will say, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
What is the little jar?
Oh, it has a spirit in it.
Oh, it does
Specifically,
indeed.
it has the spirit of the Hagoth Nagane, the
air.
air.
Air of Nagane. Indeed. I remember this. Yeah, that's I don't think he knows what you're like. I don't think he's aware of what threat you pose.
No. And that is fine.
He just lunges forward. He is an endurance, he's an endurance 7, but if you somehow unleash the spirit of the air of Nagane on him, I'll lower his endurance to 6.
Yeah, I would literally like, I imagine this is a gun draw kind of thing where he lunges and I'm like, cool, bam.
And this is just a combat with Akale and Sybil at this point. Sybil, I'm gonna make you take a second weak point for Gerald. So
yeah, that's fair.
Go ahead and roll 2 weak points, Sybil. 4 and 2. And how are you vulnerable right now, Akale? just he lunges by surprise, I guess. Or...
Well, I mean, I am vulnerable in two ways. I am vulnerable.
And you're also unleashing a spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I am vulnerable to sharp metal death, and I am vulnerable to a vengeful spirit.
Yeah, exactly. This all sounds bad. Go ahead and roll your weak point. 4 is the bad number. He is only a 6 though, so Akale, go ahead and roll combat 2.
Combat 2. Can I use 3 if I use one of my knives and swords?
That's how you get to do the combat at all. Is
Oh,
having a
okay.
weapon.
Pardon
So,
me.
yeah.
There were spaces to check mark it. So.
Oh no, that's actually for for ranged weapons. If you have a ranged weapon, those boxes are implicated. Otherwise, they don't mean anything.
Well, you said 2 dark dice?
You just roll combat 2.
2 combat.
2 and 2. Sybil, you're taking 2 hits unless you mark armor. Sybil, give us the first part of the combat.
Sybil is on the ground, holding Obeha down, loosening
You have
her
no
grip.
armor. You have no
I have
armor.
no armor. Loosening her grip. And I think as On dives forward to attack Akale, and this spirit is released from this bottle, Sybil is caught in the crossfire.
Describe her glorious end, please. I assume you're at 6 now.
Yes. I think Sybil dives or moves towards Gerald, trying to protect him from whatever is going to happen. And as she moves up, this air spirit slashes over her. And the imprecise barber slash herbalist gets a very imprecise head cut. The brain matter and viscera spill out over Obeha and on the ground onto On's feet. And Sybil just falls.
I won't narrate Gerald eating your brain matter. He's having a good day, though, let's say. This situation has gotten really out of hand, Akale. He's still alive. Akale, what's going on from your vantage point right now?
I think like there's all that chaos going on, and then I think I turn and I think Obeha is still just kind of like stunned a little, like perhaps in shock.
I think the splash of warm viscera on me has shaken me loose a little bit. Yeah. And understanding what On is saying, like, despite being torn about the whole thing, I know that he is a threat to me getting the secrets of life and death. So I'm joining the combat, and I just want to strangle him with my manacles.
We have currently, if you join the combat, go ahead and roll weak point. 4 is a wicked number. And it's going to be a combat 1, 2, 3, 4. Combat 4 now. Obeha, you can roll it this time.
Okay.
Looking for 6 total on 2 dice.
4.
That'll do it.
There is
6,
6
4, 2, and 1. The 6 and the 4 are enough. You're both taking a single hit, though, unless you mark armor, but you will defeat On. Obeha, go ahead and describe the first part of the combat.
Yeah, I think realizing what happened to Sybil, Obeha just loses it and tackles him, and like immediately like go for his throat with the manacles, and when I get him, just grab his hair and just start pounding it on the ground.
Akale, finish him off.
Head.
I think the harm, if it's okay, the harm that I'll take, I think may come from backlash of the spirit. Like it's free, hooray, but it's going to get like a passing blow on me as it escapes. And I think, yeah, I think I'll do like with the curved knife, I'll just like flip it around so that like initially the hook was on top and now the hook's on the bottom, and I'll just go right in the side of his neck, like right there. No, like we're ending this as quickly as possible.
Very good. Very
And
good.
I think while I was preoccupied bashing his brains in, he probably had a wicked little knife that he had slipped between my ribs, and I didn't realize until sitting up. Oh fuck! Okay, this is not good. Spurt, spurt, spurt.
Let us take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and deal with the aftermath of this rather intense scene. All these chickens coming home to roost in the final moments of the adventure. We love to see it, and I think the dead people are probably sitting on a bunch of hunt tokens too. Sybil's got 2
Yeah,
still.
what
Oh no, Caitlin
happens
didn't have any
when
actually, but
when you die? What happens to your gold, your tokens?
well, the group gets to split up your treasure. Your hunt tokens are kind of effectively gone, but
Oh,
Yeah.
but they get all your they get to take your stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, during break we were talking about how we could have used our hunt tokens to bypass that set goal, but
You
we
absolutely
didn't.
could have like you could have avoided all this probably. All right, so in any case, nonetheless, we're here. So Abeja and Akale, you have a moment here. The skull, its offer still stands. It doesn't care who frees it. It thought it was going to be on. That's who it called. But either of you will do fine. It might even say, I feel as if this situation is getting away from you right now.
Yeah, Obeha is covered in blood, looking real rough. And he turns to Akale and says, we have to learn the secrets of life and death to bring them back. And the master says that I'm the one that has to do it. You will be unharmed. Trust me.
you have a master now.
Don't we all?
You have a new master now. I don't believe you need to do this.
We need to do this.
I don't know your life. We are closer to the ends, each end of our own respective lives than the middle. I am nearer the start. You are nearer the end.
I agree.
Perhaps you have learned things that I have not yet learned in your time. But I do not believe that you your promise that I will not be harmed is as reassuring as you think it is. I do not want you to do this.
All I want is to bring our companions back and leave you in peace.
Let's get a ruin check here. Right now, Obeha, you're at 5 ruin, and Akale, you're also at 5 ruin. Neither of you have a lot of rope here.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn to the skull.
And risk roll ruin can't be blocked. So
yeah. Are we doing a risk roll or
well? Yeah, I'm assuming a risk roll is going to happen at some point before this is all over.
Yeah. I would like to just turn to the skull. Oh, go ahead. You go.
Can I just spend my 3 hunt tokens and just take the book?
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool. I have done that.
Cool. Can I incorporate something while we do this?
Sure. Yeah.
A question for Jason, I guess. Does taking the book involve destroying the skull, or is that a separate?
No, he just wants to be free.
Okay.
If you free
Yeah.
him, he'll just give it to you, which is what's happening here. If you spend the tokens.
So spending the tokens is freeing him?
Spending the tokens is getting the book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I'll give you control over it, Akle, actually. The book is underneath the fungus. The skeleton's holding it with his other hand. And so you've spent the tokens, you're entitled to get the book. You can describe whether you do it by just freeing him as he wishes, or if you want to do it some other way. I'm open to that as well.
Okay. No, I figured it out. I do not want this. I'm gonna put an end to this thing that's happening.
Yes.
I am going to shatter that skull with my weak points skill. I'm just gonna shatter it.
Nice.
Oh, the fault ritual, yeah.
Yeah, the fault.
Yeah, you can narrate it that way. You can narrate shattering the skull as a way of getting hold of the book. Just give me the scene.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah. So I think she'll look at Obeha and goes, "That is not all you want. And even if it were all you want, that is not all that your master wants. I want to get out of here. And if I have to crack a few more eggs to get out of here, then so be it." And she just touches the skull, like right where the third eye would be, and it just goes. It's like a and it doesn't go to dust because I don't want it to be dust. I want it to be a puzzle that would be impossible to put back together. So even if that thing is still screaming at people, or like maybe it's 1,000 pieces screaming all at once that they like anyway, like that is what I want. I want that skull to be gone. And then when the skull's gone, I feel like maybe the fungus kind of heals away a little bit, and I just grab the book and put it in my satchel.
The book. Go ahead, Beha.
Ask you for the book so I can use it for my master.
No.
That thing is just a master of rot and worms. I serve he who walks among the stones.
Yes.
So let's bring our companions back. And I'll take the book to him.
No. I don't. My mother tongue is not your mother tongue. Do you not know what no means, old man?
I do.
Contest roll to get the book. That could be good. Contest roll for control of the book. I like it.
Awesome.
We should talk about the contest roll.
Yeah.
If you want to follow along with how this works, go over to on the character keeper. I think the rules are somewhere on there. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I could be making that up.
They used to be somewhere you could highlight over.
I thought so too.
Is that a different version?
It might be the dark one I think that might be the dark character keeper. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just explain it. So the way it works is, I better pull up Trophy Gold because I don't remember offhand. So give me 1 second. It's very fun though, and this is like the perfect time to do it too. All right.
Can we be stealing other people's gold as we have this conversation? Because I have a feeling that this is going to go bad. And if I have to bolt, I would like to have at least enough gold to survive.
We can say that you have taken whatever Sybil and Caitlin had on them.
Cool. All Sybil, right. I'm taking your gold.
That's fair. I'm dead, so I can't stop you.
Here's the contest
Gerald
roll.
Doesn't care for gold.
The contest roll manages situations where treasure hunters act against each other. Sometimes multiple treasure hunters are competing to be the first to a piece of treasure, or trying to achieve their own individual aims in opposition to the others, or aiming to inflict harm on one another. To engage in a contest, first agree on what's at stake. I think what's at stake is who has control of the book of, what's it called? The Book of 1,000 Deaths. Yeah. So that's what's at stake. You will take 1 light die if the contest is something you are skilled at because of your occupation or background, or that is made somehow easier due to a piece of equipment you have. You only get 1 light die. So this is probably just like a physical struggle, but maybe it's something else. I don't know. But what do we think for the first light die?
Yeah, I mean, either my bodyguard or speed.
You have speed. I like speed. What about you, Akale?
I think I could either use grease.
Very good.
Right? Like, he was going to try and grab me. I'm like, I'm slippery.
You've probably used up most of your grease for that, like, or no, that was lantern oil. That was lantern oil. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I have 5 uses left of grease.
Okay, so grease to sort of like make yourself and the book slippery. I'm into that. I think that's very amusing. You both have 1 light die. We're not done yet. Okay. You take another light die for each mark of ruin you currently have. You both have 5 ruins. You're both up to 6 light dice currently.
Okay.
You take 1 dark die if the contest itself is inherently deadly or dangerous. I think it is. And then you take as many other dark dice as you wish. But you're going to roll. We're looking for 6s. Whoever gets the most 6s wins the contest and gets control of the book. However, for each dark die that comes up a 1, your ruin goes up by 1. So you get to risk as many dark dice as you wish, but any of them that come up a 1, your character's dead. So
this is ruin that I can't. This is ruin that I can't.
Cannot be blocked. No.
Okay.
Only combat ruin can be blocked. So the current count is 6 light, 1 dark, and then you can add as many extra dark as you want. And then once you have it typed into the contest roller, let me know and we will roll. You don't get to say out loud what you're risking.
Okay, I think I got it.
Obeha's locked in.
Done. I'm done.
Go ahead and roll, both of you. Okay, so Obeha risked 2 extra dark dice, and Akale risked 1 extra dark die.
Extra, yeah.
The Obeha's result is 1-6, and Akale's result is also 1-6. So now we go to 5s since you tied. Obeha has 1-5, and Akale has 1-5. Now we go to 4s. Obeha has 1, 2, 3 4s, and Akale has 2, 3 4s. I think we're going to 3s. Obeha has 3 3s, and Akale has 2 3s. Obeha, you have control of the book. Neither of you died, though, so that's interesting. Describe, Obeha, give me the scene. How do you get control of the book?
I think this is like a they live alley fight. It looks like there's so much back and forth. It's just like a 15-minute nasty struggle where we're both, getting the upper hand, getting knocked down. One of us gets the book, the other one jumps on him from behind. It's just a mess. But both of us are holding our own. Akale slips away a couple times, and eventually we both just kind of exhaust ourselves, and Obeha just has that one last grain of grit to take it and just step back, just like staggering.
Akale, you have Sybil's money and Gerald. Obeha, you have the book. It is sorted. At this point, I think we shall go to epilogue. Now, we have an interesting situation here because 2 of the characters are dead, so I think Hearthfire is maybe not the right thing to do right now. I do want to check in to make sure the other 2 living characters are going to be able to meet their burdens, though. The book is worth 6 gold, so that's something to know. But the problem is, if you keep the book, you can't cash in for value, and you're going to have to study the book for a long time to bring Kaylin and Sybil back to life. And so for that purpose, the book is worth nothing, except after you're done meeting burdens, it increases your burdens by 1 just to have it. So that is the deal there. Otherwise, are you able to meet your burdens, Obeha?
How much is the Black Crystal Crown worth?
That's actually worth 3. So yeah, you might be good to go.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'll cash that in for 3. And then, I am all set.
Akale, are you able to meet your burdens?
With 2 extra.
I currently have 6 burdens and 6 gold. I also still have the amulet
Mhm.
that is worth 1 gold if I can cash that in. And I don't know if Barnaby's history book is worth any gold.
It's not, but it's certainly something you can hold on to for the future.
I also had 7 magical bells worth 1 gold on my person, and I think if Akale was taking my gold, probably she
You
would
probably
take
take
that
all your
too.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll leave
take
the
all my
ointment.
stuff. I
I'll
got
leave the
some cool
ointment.
stuff. The
No,
ointment,
I'll keep the ointment.
it's the one that wasn't eaten by a bear. It's the good one.
Oh, the non-ursine ointment. Gotcha.
I'll let the two of you do a full hearth fire on your own time. You don't need to be with all of us to do it. It basically it's just like how you heal and stuff. But we're gonna do epilogues. So I want to fast forward into the future as far as you want to fast forward for your character. Just tell us where we see your character at the end. Obeha, if you're gonna try to bring Kaylin and Sybil back to life, I think maybe that is a great place to start. And then Kaylin and Sybil, you can give me an epilogue for your new selves, I guess. Maybe it didn't work, maybe it didn't take, maybe you just stay dead. I don't know. But let's do you all want a couple minutes or do you want to go just dive into it?
A couple of minutes would be nice.
Let's take 3 minutes so you can think of your epilogues. Epilogues. Whoever wants to go first, take it away. Actually, we should start with a Beha because I want to see how this part of your epilogue should be the working with the book, I think, Obeha.
Yeah. So I think I take up residence in Winterbrook in the priest's little house there next to the inn, since it's currently unoccupied. And I won't have too far to drag the bodies. Probably keep them wrapped up in linen and herbs in the basement where it's nice and cool so they don't go too bad. And basically just spend the next 6 months studying and researching and maybe occasionally practicing on a animal that has gotten sick and died, with various effects. And then the big day comes, and I think that the first one I try out the book on is Kalen, because he was the one that I actually killed with my own hands. I think it's up to Kalen.
Kalen, does it work? Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's up to me.
Yeah, does it work? Like to bring you back to life?
Oh, yeah, sure. I probably works.
Obeha, how is Kalen different when he comes back? They're always different when they come back.
Yeah. He doesn't bleed anymore. His skin and like his outer skin is like waxy and cartilaginous, kind of. It's toughened up over the months, and everything feels really dry inside. And your wound where I harpooned you does not close.
I have to say, despite that, thanks for bringing me back, buddy. Uh, am I like am I like in the church now, like in like a dark room, or
Yeah, I probably brought you back in the basement of the church.
hot damn, I am shocked. And oh man, you really didn't have to go through the trouble. This probably took a lot of time. And hey, thanks, buddy. You know what? I'm gonna hug you, and I hug you.
Yeah.
Do I smell?
Fabulous.
I feel self-conscious about my smell.
Yeah, I'll get some clothes for you. It's fine.
Took off my clothes.
It's
You know,
magic,
it's
The whole process.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. You did,
process.
yeah, yeah. It's okay.
There's
It's okay.
a lot of stuff. Don't
I
worry, I've
trust
seen
you,
worse.
man. I trust you. I suddenly become aware of my nudity.
How'd it go for
Like
Sybil?
Adam in the garden.
Did Sybil come back?
Yeah, Sybil.
I have a bit of a like an in-between thing for Sybil too,
for
if we want to do that now or later.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we while during the time that Obeha is studying the book and Sybil is just kind of rotting away in the basement of this church, we see the camera flashes to this Lord's manor, and we see these intercut flashbacks to Sybil getting hired to do hair trimming and also garden maintenance because they're basically the same thing. We see her over
Edward
time.
Scissorhands of you.
Basically, yes. We see her over time getting her friends and family positions in the house, maids, butlers, stable keepers. We see her twin sister getting hired on as head maid, and we see a flash of blood and silver as Sybil murders the lord of the manor during a routine haircut. Very Sweeney Todd. We see Sybil posing as Lord of the Manor, feasting and spending and throwing like lavish parties and having the time of her life with her family. We see the Kingsguard hauling away the people of the manor that have been posing there inappropriately. We see Sybil disappearing into the woods, and we see Sybil's twin sister sneaking down into the dungeons to hide, only sneaking out to steal food when she thinks it's safe, and flashing using a lantern code out the window on occasion to let Sybil know that she is safe. And Sybil, in her position in her home, looking out in her little room, in where did she live? This is in the town she lives in, looking towards this old lord's manor. She can see the lantern flash, and she knows her sister is safe. And all she needs to do is bribe the Justicars to erase all of her crimes, make enough money, buy the house, buy the lord's manor, buy that lordship, and then she can rescue her sister. And there'll be no more crimes. It'll be fine. We see Gerald on a hill eating some clover. And then back to, of course, the basement of the church. I
So how
think
does it go?
I think Sybil does come back to life. She's still missing the top half of, or the top part of her head.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in there anymore. It's all leaked out.
Yeah, I've gotten the blacksmith's daughter to make a little metal cap for you.
Yeah.
To knit a little cap for you or something.
Yeah, you see the bolts holding it in,
Yeah.
that bolted into her skull. We still see that her face is still burnt and steamed from the burns of that steam that from the fire from the tunnel. And when she opens her eyes are gold.
And I think when she wakes, like after we make sure that she's okay, I say, Akale has your gold. I don't know where she is, but maybe
What happened to Akale?
After that fight, if Obey has the first one, Obey has the first one to get up. I think when she can, like the moment she's able to, she'll just like she'll get up, she'll spit at his feet, and she will leave. She'll just walk out. Um, she's definitely well on her way towards getting her mother's name back in the book. And now she has evidence that much like the fungus that was growing under this town, it looks like the cult's roots go far, far deeper than she had imagined. And perhaps on her way out, she'll tear a chunk of the fungus out of off of the wall and put it in her pouch. And then I just think she starts walking in the direction of her homeland because she's got more information and she's got to ask some people about some stuff.
Good. Caitlin, anything you want to add about your future? Or
the gold's gone, right? I had 3 gold. I'm thinking Akale or Obeo took it.
Probably okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who took it, but you don't have to meet burdens though because you're a resurrectee.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I love that loophole. Well, yeah, it's awkward. I definitely want to return to Leodon Town and just let everybody know I'm still alive. I'm sorry I look the way I do. I'm working on this. I'm still, and I just had to get this big speech, maybe a town square, like maybe I do it like a town hall, and I'm just like, I'm still working on it. Like, the Social Security, the pensions, the town, everything. It didn't go the way I thought it would, but I think doing more incursions is the way to go, and I think we're going to get where we need to go. And I'm not sure if Abeja's there. I definitely would have invited him. Give him a round of applause, whether he's there or not, for resurrecting me. Disappointed he didn't accept my invitation, but that's fine. And just really tell people, hey, we're gonna get through this together. I think 10 people showed up.
Yeah, I did not accept the invitation because I'm finishing up in town. I think when Sybil is taken care of and probably goes after Akale, like, throw the bolt on the tower, hand the keys to Rollet, and take the book and head back to the Standing Stones.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well then that
Jason, can you do a epilogue for Gerald? I want to know what he's doing.
I think I like the idea of Gerald.
Can Accolade have taken Gerald? I thought you
Well, I
had
thought you did.
narrated
Yeah,
that
I thought Accolade
Yeah.
took Gerald. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. I don't care who
Well, no,
narrates
Amanda
for Gerald.
wanted Jason to do it.
Oh no,
Amanda
I
wanted Jason to do it.
I forgot that he had been taken by
Yeah,
Accolade,
yeah.
too. I just
Accolade,
want to know what
Accolade took
happened to Gerald.
Yeah,
Oh,
Accolade has Gerald currently.
Yeah, what happens to Gerald? He carries Akale, and he eats clover, and he gets brushed, and is told very, very, very frequently how lucky he is that I saved him from that terrible woman. Mostly because you're either dead or a zombie.
That's fair.
I'm happy no one made a biryani out of Gerald personally, so I'm happy Gerald is still with us.
I have dietary restrictions.
Indeed. That will conclude the Rot Beneath Winterbrook. Let's go ahead and do stars and wishes. Stars for the and wishes for the whole. Well, wishes in this context, I don't really know what they are. Just maybe like, I don't know, things you would have done differently in the story or something. Stars, though, this can be for today or the entire series that we did. If you have anything you want to share, I'm going to start though, and I'm going to say that I really liked that a lot of those like devil's bargains you all made in the early sessions, they came back to haunt you in a big way at the end, and I thought that was really great. That shoe had been like kind of waiting to drop the whole time, especially with He Who Walks Between the Stones, and so I was really happy that kind of came out. As a general matter, I have to say, this had a surprisingly trophy dark ending instead of trophy gold, which is really interesting. But I loved it. It was very OSR in its flavor at the end. It was, there's something like what I love about trophy gold. There's this, like, there are these like times when you have like a lot of control over what's happening. Like the spending of tokens gives you so much control. You can make decisions about when to like just win, right? But then when trophy gold pushes back, it's decisive. It's like, well, sorry, you're dead. It's very swingy in that way, and I think that's fun. The way it just kind of like you have these highs and lows. So that was really fun to see. The contest roll was terrific. The die roller was very, very kind in terms of making it exciting and fun to watch. The star for the die roller was in fine form today. It was very like, it effed you over when it wanted to F you over at the right moments, and it helped out at the right moments. And so, yeah. But yeah, it was great stuff. A star for Dog and Amanda, sort of like gamely embracing the death of their characters. I thought that was very good. And yeah, overall just super fun. You got to do everything in the adventure. You didn't miss anything. The adventure is really, really good. I will say that, like, it's not so much a wish, just an observation. The adventure is good, but I would say that it is thematically inconsistent in some ways. Not that everything has to have a consistent theme, but that's part of the reason why I did the like preamble part, because I wanted to create some thematic connections overall in what we're going to be doing. And so this idea of like underground tunnels, ancient things underground, you know, like that I was trying to like echo all that. And I was really happy with how it turned out. But yeah, it was good. It was good times.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, so many stars for the entire thing. Uh, I had no idea what was going to happen this session. There's no way I could have imagined. Even up to the point of the tussle between Abeja and Kalen. It's like I was like, oh yeah, you're just gonna hold me back and then we'll take care of the skull, and that did not happen.
And went south pretty quickly.
I really loved how just dramatically it flipped, and how we just y'all superstars for rolling with getting killed. Akale, thanks for pushing back and like making that a contest. That was really great. Um, and yeah, all the epilogues were so good. I really enjoyed like looking through the character keeper. Like it feels like we everyone got to use like almost every part of their stuff. So it was really satisfying throughout the whole thing to see everyone kind of just like squeezing every bit of stuff out of their characters. And really just, even though this is trophy gold and a longer thing, just like driving those characters like you stole them. So much fun all around. Big star to Jason for giving giving out those conditions at the beginning and bringing it back over and over again, and like making that choice hard for Obeha. Like if it was just the skull, it'd probably be like, I can manage this, but that golden boy was an extra bit. Yeah, I just loved it all around. No wishes, I don't think. I would like to grab the module and read it. That's about it.
Oh, I do have a wish. I was kind of shipping Barnaby and Obeha personally, and so I think that would have been interesting.
Yeah. I love the scene with the all that. That's great. Yeah, so good. Love him.
I can go next. If the fire alarm starts going off in the background, I'm sorry, it's malfunctioning. So it might go off in my background, it might go off in Devin's background. He's closer to the fire alarm, so it's louder for him. This was a lot of fun. This was just, I mean, obviously it escalated so hard in this last session, but I really liked all of the character interactions with all of the NPCs. I think those were a real highlight. The NPCs were just either really fun to interact with, or you just hated them so much in just a really fun way, like Sister What's Her Face. I just hated her. She was wonderful. Just I love having a good person to hate, you know. um I really loved in this session where Obeha had those two voices talking to him. You know, I thought that was really, really well done. And Jason, you had the very good vocal distinctions, and they both had different motives. You know, even though they didn't specify what their motives were, you could tell. And I really liked that. I really loved how Mark chose to go with that, with the putting the harpoon in Kaylin's hands and just escalating that chaos so wonderfully, so into the character. And it was, yeah, that's again the devil's bargains coming back to haunt us, and I really, really loved that. I loved when Akale destroyed the skull. That was a great moment. um I also really loved in chat where Devin put, "This is heartbreaking for Akale. She really liked Obeha. She liked him the most of all of you." Which, like, wow, thanks. But it was a really good moment. The contest roll was fantastic. I have never seen a contest roll where nobody got ruined before. I have survived exactly one contest roll in any trophy game, and
Someone almost always is done by the end of one. Yeah, they're
yeah.
yeah.
So it was really neat to see how that one played out. It was just really wonderful, intense. Yeah, this did feel a little like a Trophy Dark game. Um, yeah, Kaylin, I loved the character of Kaylin. I love how you're coming back as this like, oh, I'm really sorry. I am a zombie now. I don't mean to be a problem, but it's just how things are. Like it just so perfect. Such a wonderful
His
character, and I
attitude
want to
towards
see what
Obeha
happens
was really
next.
funny because Obeha is the one who killed him.
Right?
You know, like
Like, sorry, I look so gross and that I'm
Wasn't his
naked.
fault.
he like gave Obeha a total pass on that, you know, like yeah.
It just, yeah, I'm really, I love all of these characters, and I do want to see them. That's my wish. I want to see all of these characters again. I want to see how they are in other adventures after all of this, because I think this was really formative for these characters.
I'll go next if it's all right. Stars definitely echo what Sybil said. I also enjoy all your characters, man. It's a fun bunch of characters that were created here. There's something really charismatic about every single one of you guys. You have like these different ideas here. Like Obey is kind of playing this like quiet, like like veteran adventurer. And there's something I could say about all the characters I really liked, and also the rhythm of the game. I like this idea of like, there's a risk roll. This is something you're going to have to do, and now every player is going to go around the table and add something. That's something I want to study more. So I'll definitely be playing and running this eventually, and it was just a really fun experience overall. So thanks everybody, I appreciate it. Thanks for running it, Jason.
I will go last and I will go fast. I first of all, first trophy game after Amanda rants and mostly raves, far less ranting. Um, Super fun. I enjoy it. I would actually like to play this longer, and see how like all the rest of the character sheet works, because there's so much other stuff in this game that I'm just like, okay, I feel like I've done a lap around the block with training wheels on, and now I'd like to like dig a little deeper maybe. Um, yeah, I think that whole without going over it too more, the whole Obeya confrontation. Like truly, I think there was a point where Akale was like, "Oh, this person's been through some really tough stuff, and he's walked out. You're young. He could be a great mentor for you." And then for him to just completely be taken over by an evil spirit and kill one of the adventuring party, she was like, "Oh, okay, trust no one. Got it. Cool." So I personally would like to know what happens with her after that. But thanks to all of the different things that aligned for that. My wish is that I would actually like to see, I out of all of the characters, I want to see Zombie Count Kalen. Like I feel like that's almost a Terry Pratchett Discworldy kind of story that I would like to see. Is there a way to do trophy disc where nobody good dies and everyone makes puns? Because I feel like Galen would be awesome in that. Um, yeah, just a really creative, fun group of people from an improv perspective. All yes ands, no buts. And really cool to see Jason run this like a well-oiled machine, because I know I would probably, well, I definitely would not be able to be like, oh, and your part hasn't come out a little bit, so now I get to bring out your part. You conducted that all really, really well.
Fabulous. Yeah, this is great. Any other stars or wishes before we go? Okay.
Oh,
Well,
last time Kalen was said that he was gonna talk about what he was going for with the character. Did you have something that didn't come up?
Oh yeah, yeah, good point. No, but this is something that fascinates me because I play this character all the time, and I find that people are very like I try to play the character like he's a really sheltered dude who never had a lot of friends growing up because he's an elf, but he grew up with humans, so he's never always fit in. And so the way I play the character is like he's really apologetic, he's really sad, he really wants friends more than anything. But I also, as a player, believe because of my experiences in Dungeon World is that you got to kill the bad guy right away as fast as possible. Like that's how you win the game, right? I'm one of those players. So I often come into conflict with other members of the party where they're like, you know, you're a murderous asshole, and so that was interesting. Yeah, I always find it interesting how other people view it. So like the idea of somebody said something like he's a sociopath and I was like, yeah,
I
that's
did.
interesting.
It feels very
Yeah, there you go.
sociopathic to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not what I was going for, but completely valid. Like everybody feels that way. So maybe that's what makes you a sociopath, right? It's like you don't know it about yourself. So yeah, that's what I was going for. But yeah, I love people kind of like whispering behind the character's back, like, you know, hey, is this guy a fucking psycho? Like, what's his deal? And so that was a funny thing. That's what I was going for, and also it might be not what I was going for, but completely true.
Well, and like sociopathy isn't even necessarily like always evil, right? Like it's just like a particular like way of like handling emotional situations, right? Like you're missing a certain part of the brain, right? And that's kind of the vibe I got from Kaylin a little bit. Yeah.
Missing the part of the brain that would stop people from ordinarily murdering somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, well, this is great. I had a lot of fun. Let's
Yeah.
wave goodbye to people who are watching the video.